everybody, it's Trigger Bar Philosopher. Welcome back out to the channel. Today we have an exciting episode. We're going to be continuing our series on 5.7 by 28 personal defense rounds. In particular, we're going to be looking today at the Hornady Critical Defense. Should be an exciting show. Let's get to shooting. Okay, let's talk about what we're going over today. Today we're going to be continuing our series with the 5.7 by 28 personal defense rounds. In particular, we're looking at the Hornady Critical Defense. It's a 40 grain and it's their FTX projectile. It's got a little plastic tip inside of their hollow point. We're going to be shooting it out of our Ruger LC Charger, which is a 10.5 inch barrel, and two rock pistols. I've got one in 4.7 inches that's non-threaded and a 5.3 inch barrel, which is threaded. We'll see how velocity is affected by barrel length. We'll also test how this ammunition runs in these guns, which is always super important. We'll see how it does in ballistic gel. Then we'll also take some readings on our Garmin, and then we'll finish off by doing some accuracy testing. This should be a good time. I'm excited to test this out. Hornady is just entering the market in the last sort of 6 months or so with their own brass and their own type of bullets that they're putting into it. I'm really excited to take a look at it. I guess they've always been putting bullets in. They've been putting bullets into some of the FN rounds. They've been using the VMAX rounds for quite a while by FN, or FN's been using their Hornady rounds. But now Hornady is making their own shells, doing their own powder recipes. For a long time, Fiocchi had a stranglehold on the market. FN had a stranglehold and they subcontracted to Fiocchi to produce all of their brass, which meant if you were going to say, for example, hey, we're not real pro-gun, especially with the 5.7, where it might be potentially armor piercing, we should dumb these rounds down for the civilian population. Well, now we're getting a bunch of companies that are entering the market, big name ammunition companies beyond FN. We're getting Fiocchi, we're getting Hornady, we're getting Federal. Of course, Federal and Fiocchi use the same brass as FN. And AAC, which has entered the market. We've always had a few manufacturers like Elite Ammunition, and then also R&R Systems and Vanguard Outfitters, which I consider to be more boutique type offerings, meaning they're just smaller mom and pop type shops. Not that there's anything wrong with that, and I love them that they're creating fantastic rounds, but I'm excited to see some of these big manufacturers start to embrace the round so we can get better and better performance, hopefully, and then also so that we can get cheaper prices. Well, I hope that's all mouthful. Let's get to shooting. Here's a look at this Hornady Critical Defense. Tell it has its little plastic red tip that they're known to have in it. All right, well, we have this non-threaded barrel with this Hornady 40 grain FTX. Let's see how it performs and if Trigger Bar can get it here in the gel. Let's go see what it did. All right, well, let's take a look and see what this Hornady Critical Defense did for the 5.7. I thought we had very good expansion, very good wound tracks. I do get tangled up in some other ones, but I'm following it. It becomes very pencil. That disturbance is from a different test that I had shot previously. And then you can see in the red at about 13.5 inches, and this is our shortest barrel that we have, which tells me this is actually a pretty good round. I'm really liking this. If it can run reliably in my guns, that's a pretty decent round. Hornady Critical Defense. Let's test some of the other guns we have. Okay, well, we've got this Hornady Critical Defense. It's 40 grain projectile. We have our threaded barrel this time. Let's see what we can get. Went pretty close to it, so we'll have a great comparison. Okay, let's take a look at this wound track from the threaded barrel, which gives us just a little bit more velocity. It entered about at the same spot, but in this case, the disturbance that you see closest towards you is the projectile. There's probably some depth there, and we'll take a top view to see if we get any more perspective. We've got some tumbling out at about 10 inches. Most of the explosion occurs between starting right almost from the beginning all the way out to maybe the 5th inch. We see a little bit more, maybe just potential tumbling that happened 8 and 9 inches. And the projectile, which is seated backwards in there, get a little bit closer view there. Just seated just a little bit back there. Looks very nicely expanded and doing exactly what a hollow point should do. So that's pretty impressive, and maybe about a 1/2 inch more of penetration. So we got a 1/2 inch more barrel, and we got a 1/2 inch more penetration. Okay, we have our LC Charger, which has a 10.5 inch barrel, and we're looking at this Hornady Critical Defense. Let's see how this extra barrel length helps us in the gel. Let's go and take a look. Okay, this time we're going to be taking a look at this bottom moon track. Hopefully you can see it all over here. And this Ruger LC Charger bullet comes in, immediately expands very nicely. We see great sort of depth and penetration. And then, but it only gets out to 13 inches, still over the 12. So we just can see that, and it looks like it's losing some particles partially through. This is kind of the extent, and that bullet is very flat. Say this is sort of the extent of this bullet in terms of before it starts falling apart and doing some other weird things in the gel. But it works very well with this 10.5 inch barrel. And I think that is a fantastic cartridge. This is for the threaded barrel, comes in over here. Not sure how well you'll see it. We lose some petals and things in this area. Keeps coming. And this is where it gets to. This is the one with the non-threaded barrel. Okay, we have the non-threaded barrel with this Hornady Critical Defense 40 grain projectile. Come on, baby. There we go. 1782, 1734, 1738.9, and 1747. We're having a hard time capturing these today as we're in a little small tiny tunnel, and I think that's it. I don't think it's the darkness, because I don't think the lab radar is impacted by darkness in the way that a chronograph is. We had 4 shots. We had a min of 1734, a max of 1782, 48 extreme spread, an average of 1750, and an average kinetic energy of 27,272.2. It's not great, but it's not terrible. All right, up next we have our threaded barrel with this Hornady Critical Defense. We have to get a little low. 1832, that's a nice pickup. 1846, 1841, 1820, and 1836. We had a min of 1820, a max of 1846, extreme spread of 26.5, which is pretty good. 1835.4 is our average. And our average kinetic energy is right around that. It's 299.1, so right at what I think is a great self-defense round kinetic energy. And we've seen these bullets perform beautifully in the gel. I think this Critical Defense is a winner out of many of the different projectiles. Hornady is doing a great job. I also like that Hornady Black. I think it does a fantastic job. So kudos to Hornady for making great ammo in 5.7. They entered this course. They created their own case after decades of FN owning the market on cases. And now we're seeing some great rounds come out. That's just fantastic news for those of us in the 5.7 community. Now we have the Ruger LC Charger with this Hornady Critical Defense. Let's see if we can get right around it. 2143, 2151, 2157, and 2156. And maybe we didn't pick that up. No, we got 2156 again, and it says we had 5 shots. Just a quick look for our average is 2143.6. sorry, 2152 for our average, a low of 2143, a max of 2157, 13 for extreme spread. It's very nice. And an average kinetic energy of 411. Again, I think this Hornady Critical Defense is a fantastic round. It's performing pretty decent in terms of velocities that we're getting. Would I like it to be faster? Yes, but it's probably in a safe dimension for it all. So I think that's pretty exciting for us. Let's go on and look at some accuracy. Okay, well, we have our non-threaded barrel version with this Hornady Critical Defense. We'll see how it goes. Not bad, not great. Okay, we're at 10 yards. We have the threaded barrel and the Hornady Critical Defense. A little bit of vertical stringing there. Could it be trigger bar? Absolutely, but not bad. Things tightened up once we had a dot on it. Okay, we have the Ruger LC Charger. We're at 10 yards. We have the Hornady Critical Defense. See how we can shoot it. See, it's reliable. Okay, well, let's wrap things up. Today we shot this 40 grain Hornady Critical Defense bullet. They just came out with it. I'm super impressed with how they've done it. It seems to be performing well on all my guns, the accuracy, the performance in gel. We get a great scaling up in terms of the velocities as we get longer and longer barrels. I think that this is just going to be turned out to be one of the most fantastic rounds that have come for self-defense for the 5.7 by 28. I put it in the same ballpark that you get with the other VMAX bullets where you see with FN and also with Hornady now coming out with Hornady Black. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's a great round. Hope everyone has a great week, and let's get to shooting.